Right now, while you're watching this, someone you love may be losing their memory. Not because of age, but because of a pill sitting in their medicine cabinet. And the most terrifying part? Their doctor probably hasn't warned them about it. I'm about to show you 5 common medications that research directly links to memory loss and dementia in people over 60. And one of them, number 3 on this list, is prescribed to millions of seniors every single month for a condition so ordinary you'd never suspect a thing. Stay with me. This could be the most important 10 minutes of your life. My name is Dr. Isabel Greer. I'm a physician and geriatric health specialist with over 10 years of clinical experience working exclusively with adults over 60. I've sat across from hundreds of patients, sharp, vibrant people who came to me confused, forgetful, and scared. And in too many of those cases, the culprit wasn't a disease. It was a prescription. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 medications that peer-reviewed research has connected to accelerated cognitive decline and dementia risk in older adults. For each one, I'll tell you what the science actually says, what signs to watch for, and what questions you should bring to your next doctor's appointment. Important disclaimer before we go any further. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it does not replace a conversation with your own physician or pharmacist. Never stop or change a medication on your own. What I'm giving you today is information. The kind of information that helps you ask better questions and advocate for yourself or someone you love. Now, let's get into it. The first medication is something millions of seniors take every single night, and it has a hidden cost nobody talks about. We're talking about Zolpidem. You probably know it better by its brand name, Ambien. It's one of the most prescribed sleep medications in the United States, and if you're over 60 and you've ever had trouble sleeping, there's a real chance you've been handed a prescription for it. Here's the problem. Zolpidem belongs to a class of drugs called sedative hypnotics. They work by slowing down your central nervous system, your brain included. That's exactly how they help you fall asleep. But that same slowing effect doesn't just disappear when you wake up in the morning. Think of it like this. Imagine pouring cold water over a campfire every night to put it out. Eventually, even after the water dries up, the fire stops burning as brightly as it used to. Your brain, over time, starts functioning in a lower gear, not just at night, but during the day too. A 2019 study published in the BMJ Open found that seniors who used sedative hypnotic medications like Zolpidem had a significantly higher risk of dementia, with some analyses showing risk increases of up to 79% compared to non-users. That number should stop you cold. What's especially alarming is that many seniors are prescribed Ambien for what doctors call short-term use, meaning a few weeks, and then find themselves still taking it 5, 7, 10 years later. Because stopping causes terrible rebound insomnia that feels worse than the original problem. If you're currently taking Zolpidem and you've noticed that your thinking feels slower, that words sometimes escape you, or that you feel foggy even after a full night of sleep, don't brush that off. It may not be aging, it may be the pill. Talk to your doctor, ask specifically about cognitive side effects, ask about sleep hygiene programs and behavioral approaches that don't come with a neurological price tag. They exist and they work. Stay with me, because what's coming next surprises almost everyone who hears it. The second medication is one that's supposed to protect your heart, but for some people over 60, it may be doing something very different to their brain. Beta blockers. Drugs like metoprolol, atenolol, and propranolol. These are prescribed for high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, heart failure, and sometimes even anxiety. In the right situation, they save lives. I want to be completely clear about that. But here's what the research is uncovering. Certain beta blockers, especially the older, fat-soluble ones like propranolol, cross directly into the brain. And once they're there, they don't just affect your heart rate, they affect memory consolidation, processing speed, and emotional regulation. Let me give you a real-world picture of what this looks like. A retired teacher, a woman who had been sharp her whole life, who read constantly, who did crossword puzzles every morning, started taking propranolol for her blood pressure. Within a year, her daughter noticed she was repeating stories, losing words mid-sentence, getting confused about dates. Her neurologist initially thought it was early Alzheimer's. It wasn't. It was the drug. A 2020 review published in Pharmacological Research noted that fat-soluble beta blockers have measurable effects on hippocampal function, the part of the brain responsible for forming new memories. The effect is not the same for all beta blockers. Water-soluble versions like atenolol don't cross the blood-brain barrier as easily and carry a lower cognitive risk. So if you are on a beta blocker and you've noticed memory changes, here's what you need to do. Ask your doctor whether your specific beta blocker is fat-soluble or water-soluble. water-soluble. Ask whether switching to a water-soluble alternative would still manage your condition. That one question could make a meaningful difference. Don't skip number 3. I told you it would surprise you, and I meant it. The third medication is something over 40 million American seniors use regularly, and most of them have no idea it's classified as an anticholinergic drug. We're talking about certain bladder medications, specifically a drug called tolterodine, brand name Detrol, and its chemical cousins sulfafinacin, darafenacin, and trospium. These are prescribed for overactive bladder, for the urgency and frequency of needing to rush to the bathroom constantly. It's a deeply personal and uncomfortable problem, and when a doctor offers a solution, most people take it without asking many questions. But here's what you're not being told. These drugs work by blocking a chemical called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine isn't just involved in bladder control. It is one of the most critical neurotransmitters in your entire brain. It's the chemical that allows your neurons to talk to each other. It's the chemical that makes memories possible. When you block acetylcholine in your bladder, which is what these drugs are designed to do, you also block it in your brain. You can't separate those effects. It's like turning off the water main to fix one leaky faucet. Everything else gets cut off too. A landmark study from the University of Washington, published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2015, tracked over 3,400 adults aged 65 and older over a 10-year period. Those who had the highest cumulative exposure to anticholinergic drugs, including bladder medications, had a 54% increased risk of developing dementia. Not 5%, not 10%, 54%. And the damage wasn't just about high doses. Even low doses taken consistently over years added up to a measurable, dangerous cognitive burden. Here's what makes this especially cruel. The memory lapses these drugs cause, forgetting appointments, losing words, struggling to follow conversations, look exactly like early dementia. So patients go back to their doctor reporting memory problems, and instead of reviewing their medications, they get referred to a neurologist. The drug stays, the decline continues. If you or someone you love is taking a bladder medication, ask the prescribing doctor directly, is this drug anticholinergic? What is my anticholinergic burden? Are there alternatives? Newer medications like mirabegron work through a completely different pathway and do not block acetylcholine. They are significantly safer for the aging brain. This is why I do this work. People deserve to know this. Keep watching. The next two are just as critical. Number 4 is a medication that most seniors never question because it's been around for decades and doctors prescribe it constantly. I'm talking about corticosteroids, drugs like prednisone and prednisolone. These are used to treat inflammation, arthritis, asthma, autoimmune conditions, skin diseases, allergic reactions, you name it. They are powerful, they are effective, and sometimes they are absolutely necessary. But long-term use of corticosteroids, especially oral prednisone taken for months or years, has a well-documented effect on brain structure that most patients are never told about. Here's the simple version. Your brain has a region called the hippocampus. It's where memories are made and stored. Chronic high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, are toxic to hippocampal tissue. Corticosteroids essentially simulate a permanent state of high stress inside your body, and your hippocampus pays the price. Research published in Psychoneuroendocrinology found that prolonged corticosteroid use was associated with measurable reductions in hippocampal volume, the same kind of shrinkage seen in early Alzheimer's disease. Patients on long-term prednisone frequently report cognitive symptoms: difficulty concentrating, trouble with word retrieval, short-term memory gaps. There's also what's called steroid-induced mood changes, irritability, anxiety, even depression that can layer on top of the cognitive effects and create a deeply destabilizing picture. I'm not saying refuse prednisone if your doctor prescribes it. Sometimes you need it and the benefits outweigh the risks. What I am saying is, if you've been on a corticosteroid for more than a few weeks, that conversation about long-term cognitive effects should be happening. Ask whether the dose can be tapered. Ask whether a steroid-sparing alternative exists for your condition. Ask your doctor to monitor your cognitive health over time. One more to go, and this one ties everything together in a way that will make complete sense of everything you've heard today. Number 5 isn't a single drug, it's a situation, and it's the most dangerous thing happening to seniors' brains in America right now. It's called polypharmacy. That's the medical term for taking multiple medications at the same time. And for many seniors over 60, that means 5, 8, sometimes 12 different pills a day. Here's the thing that most people, including many doctors, don't fully account for. Medications interact, not just in obvious ways that trigger clear side effects, They interact in quiet, cumulative, invisible ways that build up over months and years. Let me paint you a picture that happens every single day in this country. An older woman wakes up and takes a beta blocker for her blood pressure. She takes a bladder medication for urgency. She takes an over-the-counter sleep aid, the kind with diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl, because she's been having trouble sleeping. And she takes a low-dose corticosteroid for her arthritis. Each of those drugs, individually, might seem manageable, but together, they create what researchers call a high anticholinergic burden, a compound neurological suppression that no single drug on its own would cause. A 2022 analysis published in Age and Aging followed more than 280,000 older adults and found that those with the highest cumulative medication burden had a 120% increased risk of developing dementia within 10 years. That's more than double the normal risk. For people doing everything right, taking all their prescribed medications exactly as directed. The tragedy is not that these people did something wrong. The tragedy is that nobody sat down with them and looked at the whole picture. I call this the medication blind spot. Each specialist prescribes what's right for their system. The cardiologist for the heart, the urologist for the bladder, the rheumatologist for the joints. But nobody is standing back and asking, what is all of this doing to this person's brain? That person needs to be you, or a family member, or a trusted advocate. Here's exactly what I want you to do. Gather every single medication you take. Prescription, over-the-counter, vitamins, supplements, all of it. Bring that complete list to your next doctor's appointment and say these words. I'd like a full medication review with attention to my cognitive health and anticholinergic burden. Write that down. Say it. Your pharmacist can also do this review, and many will do it at no charge. Drug-induced cognitive decline is often reversible. When the burden is reduced, when unnecessary medications are deprescribed or switched to safer alternatives, many people regain mental clarity that they thought they had lost for good. I have seen this happen. I have watched patients come back to themselves. Your brain has a remarkable capacity to recover, but it needs the chance. Let me give you a quick summary of everything we covered today. 1. Zolpidem and other sedative sleep drugs slow brain function over time and significantly raise dementia risk with long-term use. 2. Fat-soluble beta blockers like propranolol cross into the brain and can impair memory and processing speed. Water-soluble alternatives may be safer. 3. Bladder medications that block acetylcholine, like tolterodine, directly interfere with the brain chemical most essential for memory formation. 4. Long-term corticosteroids like prednisone create hippocampal stress damage that mirrors early Alzheimer's brain changes. 5. Polypharmacy, the silent, cumulative effect of multiple medications taken together, is the single biggest drug-related threat to your brain after 60. None of this means you should stop your medications without talking to your doctor first. What it means is that you deserve a complete, honest conversation about what every pill you take is doing. Not just to your heart, or your bladder, or your joints, but to your brain. I'd love to know. Are you or someone you love currently taking any of these medications? Have you noticed any changes in memory or mental sharpness that started around the same time as a new prescription? Leave a comment below. I read them all, and your experience might help someone else connect the dots they've been missing. If this video gave you something useful, consider subscribing. I publish content like this every week. Straightforward health information for adults over 60, with no agenda except helping you stay sharp and well for every year ahead. Take care of yourself. You deserve clear information, and you deserve a clear mind.